It was the worst loss in Utah Jazz history. But if I'm totally honest, I'm lost on the outrage. Next on Locked on Jazz. Bum 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 pow.
You are Locked on Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
How are you? I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider, and this is Locked on Jazz. It's your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, giving you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thank you so much for making Locked on Jazz your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all podcasting apps, as well as on YouTube. Thank you for making Locked on Jazz your first listen, and thank you for making Locked on the #1 sports podcast network. Also to the everydayers, you're the best. You're what makes us. Thank you. We are here Monday through Friday. You can be with us also. You can also join the Everydayer Club. Thank you so very much. All right. On today's show, we're going to talk about the loss. We did go from this weird kind of amazing win to terrible loss, but we've done that a few times this year. I probably am going to have a therapy session with you on my own behalf. I'm finding myself having a little bit of unfair expectations on a few guys, and then I go back to kind of what I know, and then I pause, and I'm assuming if I'm doing that, then you probably are too. Our pick and roll defense is awful. We've dug into this a little bit in the last few weeks, but I just thought I'd share how awful. We're ranked 30th defensively, so that probably tells us a lot of what's going on there. And we'll touch on all those things, and we'll do Trends Monday as well. We're here to see Cleveland today. Donovan Mitchell and the Cavaliers actually have been kind of up and down all year long until their last game against Minnesota, and then they actually looked terrific. They finally clicked in a little bit. Looked like they were back to being the Cleveland Cavaliers of Kenny Atkinson last year when they were really awesome. So interesting to see what we get. We may be running into another buzzsaw a little bit tonight because of the fact that this team, I think, may have clicked in a little bit. Darius Garland just hasn't been right. They play, I'm kind of getting into my prep here, but they play really three different teams. They play when they have Donovan, Garland, Mobley, and Allen on the floor the whole time. And then they play Donovan and Mobley together, and then they play Garland and Allen together. And the Garland-Allen combination just has not been right this year. Everything else is kind of back to exactly what it was a year ago. All right, let's address a 55-point loss. Sucks. I don't know if it's Twitter bots or if it's just Twitter or if just people or just the outrage seemed high to me on a 55-point loss. And not being competitive is not good. Maybe this is why we haven't traded Lauri, right? Like, that was what happens if we are extremely tired and don't play Lauri on the same night. I do think schedule got us a little bit that night. I thought we were bad. We played the team runs the most pick and rolls of any single team in the NBA, and we don't guard the pick and roll well. It was actually a bad matchup. They made a bunch of shots we didn't, and then we rolled over and died. It's not great, but I do kind of go back to we're in the middle of a process, which hopefully starts an upward tick here shortly. We cleared the deck this year of Colin and John and Jordan. Opened up the door for the young kids to have their responsibility. They failed at it the other night. But we kind of knew that was going to happen. Like, I think the general expectation when we started the year was we either had the worst team, second worst team, or third worst team in the NBA on the floor, which isn't great. It's part of the process. And so when you go into a season and kind of know that's there, we all know that. Like there's no one out there that's listening to this show who's a Jazz fan, who's paying attention, who doesn't know that we went into the season with a roster that was built to probably try to finish somewhere in the bottom 5 of the NBA. So when we lose by 50, it sucks. But I'm a little lost on like how that becomes a firestorm. That's my only comment. Like it, I love the tenacity. I love the fire. I love that we're still in. I love that we still care. I love that you're still listening. I love that you're still watching. I think there's a lot of things to watch. I think there's a lot of really interesting things. Cody Williams is super interesting right now to see whether this begins to come together. Keyonte George, year 3, is amazing to watch right now. But I do think every now and then you just kind of have to go like, damn, that sucks. And I'm not saying it's like fun. I just don't know that I think it's worthy of outrage, I guess is my point. And I'm guessing that 99% of you are with me on that. Let me share my thing that I need your help with. So I don't think Kyle Filipowski and Isaiah Collier are playing very well right now. And I have a tendency to find myself watching them, rooting for them, liking both of them a lot, and being like, "Oh God, I don't know if I don't know if they're gonna make it," and they might not, right? Like the fact is, after the 11th pick of the draft, let's just get the facts and non-emotion. They aren't wearing our clothes. After the 11th pick of the draft, 50% of players don't make the NBA. 32nd pick kind of falls into that category. It's not second round pick. It's far worse. It's 9% make it and 90% don't. But it's a sliding scale as you go down the second round. So let's call Kyle a first round pick. And like, so there's a real chance that both Isaiah and Kyle Filipowski and Bryce Sensabaugh and all these guys that are drafted non-top 10, Cody, frankly, is kind of right on the cusp of that, have a hard time making it in the NBA. That's the truth. This is a very hard league to play in. So that's possible. And so I find myself like, oh gosh. Like Charlotte went under on Isaiah Collier more than any team has ever gone under. They literally on the pick and roll went under in the paint. Teams start doing that to you, you've got to hit it. He hit a midi. Like he's got to take 20. I actually want him to take like 15 shots on a game like that. It might be crazy. Kyle has worked on a lot of things, gotten better at a lot of things, and then just gotten sped up, lost the dribble a few times, not shooting as well. Like, okay, great. I don't need to like. But how many times have I told you that players who play a lot in year 1 don't get better in year 2? They just don't. And we have 2 examples sitting right in front of us in Walker Kessler and Keyonte George, who had second years that made you say, oh, no. Oh, no. I don't think I'll make it. If you'd asked me on January 12th of last year if I thought Keyonte George had an NBA career, I think I was over 60% no. Like NBA, like Keyonte George probably was always going to have an NBA career, but like an NBA career, like someone we talked about, someone that mattered, someone that was a rotation player in the NBA, went after it, played well, got after it, impacted games. I mean, right about now is Keyonte has come off his injury and he gets benched basically a year ago. He gets benched on January. He comes back from an injury on January 15th, plays 4 games, and goes to the bench. And we can talk about all you want. He got benched. At this point in Keyonte's career, he played 100 games. Last year at this point, he was shooting 39% from the field and 35% from 3. The 35% from 3 was encouraging. 39% was not. It was not sold right now. And so when I find myself having this feeling I've had, because I'm looking at these players and hoping they're going to be major pieces of us moving forward, or at least pieces of it. And then I'm like, Well, what ends up happening, and I stop myself and it's like, what am I expecting? That's really probably no different than the fan who's outraged at a 55-point loss. So I do think that there is a lot of unfair, misaligned expectation by me, as well as anyone else. If I'm doing it, I'm sure we all are. And, I think we're also about to hit this spot. We're going to do this coming up here in a second, where we do the 10-game reviews, right? Not surprising to me that game 30 through game 40, we'll do this after the Chicago game on this trip, will be at game 40. Game 30 through game 40 is going to be the least encouraging stretch. They're tired. I think worn out. Scouting reports are out. I don't think guys have played particularly well in this 10-game stretch, other than Cody. Maybe not stunning. Not fun, but not stunning. Kind of an ongoing theme of what's going on with us defensively. I dug in our pick and roll stuff a little bit. I'm going to share where it's ugly. And understandably ugly, but pretty ugly. Next on Locked on Jazz. Today's Monday edition of Locked on Jazz is brought to you by Murdoch Chevy. The Murdochs have been in Utah, as we've talked about, for 80, 90, I can't even keep track anymore, years. They're a staple. And the Murdochs want to make sure that anytime you have an experience with them, you have no regrets. I still go back to COVID when everyone's charging extra these fees, and Blake doesn't do it. Blake Murdoch says, no, I'm not going to church. I'm not going to the grocery store. I'm not going places in town where I bump into people and I got an extra $2,000 of them because we're in a global pandemic. And that's the essence of who the Murdochs are. And then we have Chevy. I mean, that's Americana, right? That's the Silverado and the Colorado. That's the Tahoe and the Suburban. That's Americana. So right now, jump over to Murdoch Chevy, located in Woods Cross, also in Logan, and jump board. If you're going to stop by, email me first at dlock09@gmail.com. That's dlock09@gmail.com so I can get you your VIP experience with Murdoch Chevy. Today's show is also brought to you by Game Time. What about their name makes me always want to say Game Time? Or is it just the fun and excitement that I know, like I'm about to get tickets, and so that fires me up? Is that it? Is that what it is? Is that Game Time represents fun because it means we're getting tickets to something? Maybe. Nonetheless, it is Game Time. And during basketball season, there's nothing better than being in the building. Energy, crowd, big runs, fan on their feet, refreshing, getting out there. So let's have getting tickets be enjoyable. Not getting refreshing screens, not guessing what they're really going to cost, not wondering where the tickets really are. No, let's do fast, simple, and without the guesswork. Browsing Game Time app is straightforward and intuitive. Finding tickets takes just a few taps. Seeing the view from your seat, before buying makes choosing tickets easy and confident. Prices include fees up front, so the total is clear for the start. Features like zone deals help you unlock great seats at better value. And whether it's an NBA game or another live event, everything is right there for you in one place. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today and get into the action. Thanks so much for tuning in to Locked On Jazz. Thank you for making Locked On Jazz your first listen. Everydayer Club. The all-access Everydayer Club gets you one-on-one texting back and forth with me, gets you a daily newsletter sent to your inbox, gets you extra bonus content from Leaf to Lean on the NBA draft, the players that are coming, all the various breakdowns. It's going to be amazing as we get close to the draft. Gets my reaction to all rumors and comments and things that are going on in the league directly sent to you. Private communication. Gets you ad-free. Gets you 15% off at the merch store, Locked On merch store. Gets you Locked On Sports Today, exclusive audio content to you, ad-free, and access to our Discord channel. That is all part of our Everyday All Access Club. It's $15 a month or $150 a year, 2 months off. For that, go to lockedonjazz.supercast.com. That's lockedonjazz.supercast.com. If you want just the ad-free and the Discord and the Locked On Sports audio, that is $5 a month. That is part of the Everydayer Club as well, to get audio-free feed for your Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your stuff for your audio. That is all part of the Everydayer Club. All right. I went and looked at our pick and roll stuff. I don't know if I found. We talked about this a little bit last week. I thought it was worth going back over. So first thing is our pick and roll coverage is really bad. Like, we don't need to I don't want to hide this fact. This is not like me trying to be, I don't know. I don't hide a lot, but we have the worst pick and roll coverage in the NBA. And by not a little bit, by actually a lot. And when you lose Walker Kessler for the year and your starting center becomes Yusuf Nurkic, who's been fabulous for us, but has never been known as a good defensive center, was a center on the Portland teams that were one of the worst defensive teams in the league. And then your backup center is Kevin Love, who's 37 years old and not a center. And then your backup center after that is Kyle Filipowski, who has a wingspan that is equal to that of Taylor Hendricks and Ace Bailey. So he's really a 3, and you're playing him like a 5. This is what happens. The thing that I think that I would say is this has to be addressed, personnel-wise. Because the worst teams in the NBA are the worst pick-and-roll defensive teams. So the 7 worst pick-and-roll teams in the NBA, defensively, are Chicago, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Washington, New Orleans, Sacramento, and Utah. Those are the 7 worst teams in the NBA. It's kind of a universal. The best teams in the NBA are Detroit, Oklahoma City, pick and roll coverage. Are Detroit, Oklahoma City, Houston, Toronto, Miami, Dallas, surprisingly, Golden State. But it's not universal that you become the best team in the league if you are good at pick and roll coverage. It is universal, though, if you're bad at pick and roll coverage, you're one of the worst teams in the league. The average on a pick and roll play is 0.97 points per pick and roll. Defensively. Okay? 0.97. We're at 1.05. We're 0.08 points worse than league average on the pick and roll every play. It's wow. Here's what's interesting. I went through the way Sports Genius counts all these things. And they have them down to switch, show, switch. You can pick and roll, you can switch. You can show, which means you come out, you show, and then everybody gets back to their man. You can play soft, which is basically drop coverage. And then you can blitz, which is you double team the ball, and that seems insane. The league average on almost every single coverage is the same. The league average on blitz is actually the best. It's 0.97, 0.96, 0.97, 0.97, and 0.94. Blitz is 0.94. What's a little weird is one of our primary defensive coverages is what we call corral, which is we send our big out and he stays with the ball and stretches it out until our guard gets back out in front. And then he goes back. But by that time, we're in mass rotation. And this is, I think, why we're allowing the most wide open threes of any team in the NBA. Because that defense means the baseline guy has to cut off the roller, and now you're into rotation. I watched a bunch of these on Sports Genius and watched a bunch of stuff on Second Spectrum. It's not clear to me that all of our pick and rolls are being defined the same by these programs. So I want to be a little cautious. But when we switch, this is where I really think, like, from a coaching standpoint, I don't know what you're supposed to do. This is kind of my point. When we switch, which we do 30% of the time or so, and we usually do it small to small, and we try to keep Nurk and Flip out and Kevin Love out of switches, we allow 1.04. Okay, we allow 1.05, which is terrible. Let me just be clear on it. I'm not trying to pile on, but just how bad 1.05 is, just to give you an idea. There's only 5 teams in the NBA that are over 1 point of possession on pick and roll. There's only one other team that's over 1.00. That's Sacramento at 1.02, and then we go to 1.05. League average is 0.97. So there's 5 teams in the league that are like 0.99-ish, between 0.991 and 0.999. There's actually 7 teams. There's 3 teams that are 1.0. Then there's Sacramento at 1.02, and then us at 1.05. And the best team in the league is Detroit at 0.88, Oklahoma City at 0.9, Houston at 0.9, then jumps to Toronto at 0.93, Miami at 0.94, Dallas at 0.94. And we're 1.05. That's 0.1 point. Every time someone runs 10 pick and rolls in a game and we're playing Dallas, in theory, if everything's on average, we'd be a point behind. It's a lot. Okay. So when we switch, we're at 1.04. That's our guards getting space, switching his pick and roll, small, small. When we show, which is what I think our corral was going to show up as, but I'm not sure it did, it's pretty ugly. We're at 1.18. 1.18 points per chance. When we're soft and we play drop, which is, if I'm being totally honest, without knowing how to coach, my instinct is, fine, our guys cannot switch. I agree. You don't want Nurk, you don't want Flip, you don't want Love switch. Let's just play drop, bring in help. I don't think it'll work much better, but let's just do that. Well, guess what? It doesn't work much better. 1.05, and we blitz, it's 0.98. My point on this is our pick and roll coverage is bad. This makes us look bad defensively. I just would love to dig into the numbers and try to find an answer that says, oh, wait, if we did this more, it might work. My brain tells me that if you're dropping Nurk, you're in trouble. My brain tells me if you're switching Flip, you're in trouble. My brain tells me that if Kevin Love's involved in a pick and roll, you're in trouble. No offense to Kevin Love. He's 37 years old and won a championship in this town a long time ago. He's not a center. And the numbers kind of say the same thing. And this probably goes to where I started today, which was the expectations. It's hard to be outraged. Part of me is outraged. I look at these numbers. I'm like, oh, my God. We're not like just bad. We're really bad. But might just be the reality. And we got to learn some principles and how to play and build a foundation for which we get better at some point in time here. We still got a long way to go, though, right? All right. Trends Monday. I think this one's going to be, I do these with you. We do these together. We go through the top 10 game, each team, last 10 games, and then we go through the last 2 weeks. My guess is that Minnesota's clicked in. They look really good, even though they lost to Cleveland yesterday and their defense was bad for a day. My guess is we see some surprising slippage from teams from game 30 to game 40, which is kind of where we are in the NBA season. And we're going to find that out next on Locked on Jazz. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Our good friends over at FanDuel are the official sponsor of the NFL, of the NBA, and of Locked On. FanDuel gets you into the action with all the fun and excitement you could imagine, adding a little bit extra to it. Basketball already feels different, and FanDuel is making everything better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives you a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is the official pregame limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern to become appointment viewing for the NBA Happy Hour. Opening the FanDuel app during happy hour always brings something new, boost, bonuses, and surprises. Easy to check the weekly special before tip. Make a move before the window closes. Timing's perfect. Right before the games, right before the weekend starts. It adds extra energy to Friday night basketball without overthinking it. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app. See what's working, what's dropping during NBA happy hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, a whole lot of energy on a Friday night. That's the NBA happy hour only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Thanks so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen. Thank you for making Locked On what it is today. Appreciate it. 2026, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to launch the Everyday program. That was the big deal. But we got more. All right, let's get to it. Last 10 games, advanced metrics, all NBA teams. The hottest team in the NBA the last 10 games is the Charlotte Hornets. Well, because they beat us by 55. So their numbers are great. But they're 5-5 in the last 10, 11.6. The Clippers are number 2. This is truly the middle of the season where teams are just, this is bizarre. I knew this would be bizarre. Boston is number 3. Boston now is the second best differential of anybody in the best differential of anybody in the Eastern Conference. Second best in the NBA, best in the Eastern Conference. Phoenix has won 8 of their last 10. They have an 8.3 in Oklahoma City. Despite what seems like struggles, they're just playing closer games, and they're the 5th best differential in the NBA. Detroit is 6, Minnesota is 7. The worst in the NBA are Sacramento, Utah, New Orleans, the Lakers still in this. Wow. Indiana and Dallas. Brooklyn, if you're interested, is 20th. If you're wondering where certain teams are. Portland is 17th. The best offense in the NBA the last 10 games is Charlotte, followed by Boston, then the Clippers, Minnesota, Cleveland. Minnesota's offense, 4th best in the NBA the last 10 games. I kind of thought we'd see them here. Cleveland's clicked in. They're the 5th best offense in the last 10 games. Golden State and New York. Teams that can't score right now. Sacramento still can't score. Hasn't been able to score. The Lakers now, for all their talk of defense, can't score. Lakers are the 2nd worst defensive team in the NBA. Or offensive team in the NBA last 10 games. It's surprising. Dallas, Washington, Miami, the vaunted Miami system and all the things they're doing doesn't seem to be all that. And then San Antonio. San Antonio has a lot of guards that can't shoot. Best defense in the NBA last 10 games is Phoenix, followed by San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Detroit, Atlanta. They may stay there now. Trae Young's gone. And Miami. Worst defenses in the NBA, Utah, Sacramento, the Knicks. It's Mike Brown's team let go of the rope. Denver without Jokic. Interesting. New Orleans, Indiana, and Golden State. Let's go to a more recent trend, which is the last 2 weeks. Gives us a little bit of a more recent trend to see what's going on. Funky time of the year. Right now it gets funky. Right out All-Star break, some teams amp up, and then we get the real divergent discrepancy between teams late in that year that we talk about all the time. Last 2 weeks, hottest team in the NBA, Minnesota. I kind of feel that. Watching them, they look good. Watched a bunch of Minnesota. Alan Horton's doing a bunch of TV, so I'm checking in on him. Good friend. Minnesota's clicked in. Minnesota's got the number 1 point differential in the NBA the last 2 weeks, then Boston, Detroit, Charlotte, Oklahoma City, and Phoenix. Worst differential in the last 10 games, or last 2 weeks, Utah, Sacramento, Washington, Brooklyn, New Orleans, and Dallas. Every time I say Utah's 30th, I thank you for listening. Number 1 offense in the NBA, Boston. Number 2, Minnesota. Number 3, Charlotte. Number 4, Golden State. Number 5, the Clippers. Number 6, Cleveland. Teams that can't score the last 2 weeks are Washington, Dallas, Sacramento, Miami, and the Lakers. We're 25th also. Best defense in the NBA the last 2 weeks, Detroit, San Antonio, Phoenix, Atlanta, Oklahoma City, and Toronto. Best defenses. Only surprise there is Phoenix. Worth keeping an eye on Atlanta now that Trae's gone. Worst defense in the NBA, Utah, Sacramento, New York, Denver, Brooklyn, New Orleans, Golden State. Lakers, by the way, after J.J. Redick's tantrums, are 15th in the league defensively over the last 2 weeks. So he's getting better there. All right. Draft position update. We have 13 wins. We really need to be at 5. We really would like to be better than 5, but I don't know if we're going to get there. Okay. Indiana has 8 wins. They have won 2 in a row, but I think Rick Carlisle understands the task. I think they're going to be in their own category. New Orleans has no incentive to lose, and they've still only won 9 games, and they don't seem to be rectifying. They've lost 9 of 10. I don't think we can catch them. Sacramento has lost 9 games. They've won 2 of their last 10. I don't think we can catch them. Washington is 5-5 in their last 10, but they've lost 3 in a row. I think they'll play Trae Young sparingly. They'd have to win 3 more games than we do in the final half of the season. That will be interesting. Brooklyn had the game last night against Memphis. Real chance to win it. Didn't. They've won 11 games. We've won 13. Jordi Fernandez has a team playing well. I have no idea if we can catch them, but it'd be nice. It'd be nice to get to 5 or 4. Dallas is at 14 wins. Anthony Davis is out for months. They're about to go full tank. They're going to be a real problem for us. Watch Dallas. We need Dallas to win a lot of games. Charlotte, I think, is going to make a run for the play-in. I think they're going to separate from us. Milwaukee's going to try to make a run for the play-in. Memphis is up 4 wins on us, and the Clippers are winning games. They've won 8 of 10. So I actually think we're going to have a separation that just happened here where there's now 7 teams competing for draft position. And we're currently in the 6th spot. We'd really need to get to the 5th or 4th. Let's do a lottery simulation. The Utah Jazz. The New Orleans Pelicans get the number 1 pick and send it to the Atlanta Hawks. Oh, my God. Disaster. The number 2 pick goes to the Utah Jazz. Dallas gets the number 3 pick to go with Cooper Flagg. And those teams that were in the top, Indiana, Sacramento, Washington, Brooklyn, all slip. Indiana goes to 4, Sacramento to 5, Washington to 6, Brooklyn to 7. But in our simulation today, the Utah Jazz get the 2nd pick of the NBA draft. You're either getting A.J. Dembonsa or the kid out of Kansas. That's why you should be an everydayer, remember, because then you've listened to Leaf Tuline's breakdowns on those kids. I know nothing about them. Ron Boone's telling me AJ's real. He's watched him. Thanks very much for tuning in today. Tomorrow we will get to recap of Cleveland. We'll be in Chicago, and then we'll do Chicago. Then Thursday this week we'll do our 10-game review. So it should be a fun week of content for you. So please tune in each and every day. If you want to follow me on socials, I walk around with Ray-Ban Meta glasses and do all sorts of fun stuff now and do walk and talks and things like that. I can show you beautiful Cleveland today. You can follow me at DLock09 on TikTok, Instagram, and X. Everydayer Club. All access members, love to have you be a part of it, be a part of our Discord, be a part of the growing community that we're trying to build here of a special Utah Jazz thing. Hope that Discord becomes what Jazz Twitter once was. You can do that at the Everydayer Club. Go to lockedonjazz.supercast.com. That's lockedonjazz.supercast.com. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. We now send you the first ever 24/7 national NBA channel, Locked on NBA on YouTube or on audio. Check out Locked on NBA Game Night. Every game, every night.